So it's been a long time since I released my Awakened Whisper video, and the reason for that is quite simple. I'm bad at the game. It has taken me all this time since then to be able to get the Awakened Leviathan kill and complete my Blood Torva. So unlike my other videos where I show every attempt, and similar to my Vard video, there's just simply too many clips if I was going to show you all of my fails. So I'm just going to show you a few attempts and commentate over them, my mistakes, what I learned, and hopefully that'll help you guys save some orbs. And then I will go ahead and show the completion on both my main and my iron. So before we get into the clips, just first and foremost, if you're looking to tackle Awakened Leviathan, I highly recommend checking out Red Eye Jedi's guide for it. Once again, his tile markers for this boss are insanely good, and without them it would have taken me way more tries than it did. And then once you have the tile markers, learn how to use them. Just because you have tile markers does not mean that you know how to use them. And if you just start tackling Levy without knowing how to use them, you're going to waste so many orbs. And the amount of times I died because of bad rock placement, because I didn't know where to put the rocks or how to utilize his tiles, is just too many. So if you want to save yourself some orbs, please watch his guide, learn how to utilize his tiles, watch my clears, watch other people's clears, really get to know the fight before you even try your first attempt. And then if you go into your first attempt knowing what to expect, I promise you it'll save you so many orbs, a lot of frustration in the long run. So now that I got those tips out the way, let's just jump into a few of my clips and see where things went wrong. As always, I will pause to explain things I see as I go, and then I'll have the unedited clips of my KCs in the timestamps below as well. Right, so this is what I'm talking about, like going into Leviathan without really knowing how to utilize the tiles. This is one of my very early attempts, and if you don't really understand how the fight works, you don't know how to utilize his tiles, and you go in and stuff like this happens, where it's like a waste of an orb. Basically, I didn't back attack Leviathan at the right tile, so I didn't proc his back shot, which means he didn't do a special attack, and instead he drops boulders. And he drops boulders in the way of my path that I need for the enrage phase. So this run, it's not like entirely ruined, but something like this is so preventable just by knowing how the fight works, you know? So, see, just from this one mistake, you'll see that boulder placement just it will fuck you up during the enrage. So you don't want to make stupid errors like this. Once again, something like this, like small mistakes like these, like it adds up, and you want a very, very clean playing field for the enrage phase. So any small amount of mistakes, it really does add up. Those rogue boulder placements, like they really do mess you up. See, like right now, like how am I supposed to backshot this? I can't because I have this boulder placement in the way. So anyway, this is a very bad example. This is what you don't want to do. This is why it's important to know how to utilize the tiles before you even start your first attempt. So stupid stuff like this does not happen. This is a waste of an orb. It's done at this point.
It must be a glitch.
Complete.
Alright, so the problem with this clip is I did not set up the enrage phase properly. You really want to make sure that you follow the tiles that Red Eye Jedi has, and you want to proc the enrage phase at the correct time, in the correct position at the correct tile. The reason for this is because you have this tornado chasing you, which I don't know where it is. It's somewhere over here. But you have a tornado chasing you, and it hits 40s. And missing a couple of flicks during enrage phase is fine. If you miss a couple of flicks, but then you also get hit by tornadoes and you're dead, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you really want to follow his tiles, not like what I did here, because if you follow his tiles, it'll give you enough time to get your Webweaver bow specs off, switch back to your T-bow, start prayer flicking while giving you the maximum amount of distance away from the tornado as you can get, which is what you want, because you don't want to get hit by the tornado during the enrage phase. So, after knowing where the boulder placements are, number 2 is how to properly set up enrage phase. If you know how to do those 2 things, then all you need to worry about is flicking during the enrage phase, and that'll take you however many orbs it takes you, but you don't want to lose pointless orbs to dumb mistakes like this. So before I play this clip, I'm going to go ahead and let you know of the changes I made. First of all, instead of bringing Masori and switching to Void Range for the Enrage phase, because Void Range is best in slot for the last phase because you want the maximum amount of damage, accuracy no longer matters because you're standing in the Abyssal Protector. Instead of bringing Void Range as a switch, I just camp it. I believe I also... in this clip I actually don't, but I would recommend bringing a Phoenix Necklace because it could save you during the Enrage phase. It could allow you to get off that one extra T-bow shot that could get the kill. So, camp Void Range, equip the Phoenix Necklace during the Enrage phase, it could save you. Number 2, I proc the Enrage in the correct way this time, as you're going to see. I barrage on the Enrage barrage tile, I proc it over here. I'm going to get my first Web Weaver bow spec off on this tile, my second one off on this tile, and I switch back to my T-bow immediately. And you'll see, all I then have to worry about is just flicking, which is why this run goes so much better. Another tip, if you have alternating attacks from Leviathan, so he said he does a mage, a range, then back to mage. Instead of moving and taking all that damage, prioritize flicking. So flicking should be your number 1 priority. Always flick. Right? Especially when he has alternating attacks like that. If he has a string of attacks, so he does range, 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 then you can move and attack and you're free to go. But if he's alternating like that, range, mage, range, flick it because otherwise you're down 80 HP, right? Number 2, instead of clicking only 2 tiles at a time ahead of you, so your character only moves 2 tiles and he stops until you click again, try clicking 3 or 4 tiles in front of you, especially if there's a string of the same amount of attacks. Click 3, 4 tiles ahead of you. You will still be within the range of the Abyssal Protector. It's a lot bigger during Awakened Leviathan, the Abyssal Protector. So you don't have to stay as close to it as you would in normal Leviathan. So click 3 to 4 tiles away, maybe even 5, it's fine. You don't want the tornado to catch you. But number 1, like I said again, prioritize flicking, then moving, then attacking. Because if you attack, but then you die, then what's the point? So try to click 3 to 4 tiles away when you can't to give your character enough enough of a gap in front of the tornado so that it never catches you, and then only attack Leviathan when you have a string of the same attack style, So if it's range, 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 or mage, 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 then you move far, then you then you can click far away in advance and attack Leviathan, no stress. But once you see range, mage, range, mage, range, mage, you gotta flick it, because if you don't flick it, you're just gonna die. So prioritize, once again, that's just prioritize flicking, then movement, then attacking when you have time. And you'll see in this clip, I did those 3 things, a little bit lacking on the prayer flicking, which is why I ultimately die before Leviathan dies. But those 3 things, along with setting up the enrage phase properly, is what gets me so far during this clip.
It must be a glitch.
Completed.
It must be. It
Dying
must be
on
a
my hard cry, man.
glitch. It
Completed.
must be.
Combat
won!
task completed.
The greatness of the achiever. They call me what? What?
So I'd just like to give some closing final thoughts on all of the Awakened Desert Treasure 2 bosses, not just Leviathan. If you have optimal gear, I think that Blood Torva is very achievable for basically everybody. What makes it hard is people try to rush it, or they're trying to tackle it without suboptimal gear, or people who have optimal gear but are tackling it and just doing 8-hour straight sessions of non-stop attempts. I really recommend recording your attempts, similar to the Inferno, similar to the Colosseum. Record your attempts, see where you died, see why you died, try to figure out how to not repeat that mistake in the future. You will improve. A lot of these bosses, they're overwhelming. They're really high. I mean, especially Vardorvis. Oh, not really Vardorvis, but Leviathan especially is very high actions per minute, which I'm not good at. I mean, I play on a full screen. So it's not easy for me to move my mouse all over the screen, you know. RNG plays a big role. So having optimal gear, getting good RNG, like you can see most people, when they get their first Awakened Leviathan clear, it's because they got spooned during the Enraged phase, you know. Like Awakened Leviathan could just throw you a string of, you know, range attacks, mage attacks. It almost never alternates. Maybe it alternates once or twice, and then that's it. It only takes a couple of shots from the T-bow to kill the Awakened Leviathan. Once again, if you have optimal gear. If you're trying to tackle these bosses with a whip, or in like a trident, and like a bofa, that's a different story. If you're able to get Blood Torva without having the mega weapons, then props to you. That's not me. I'm very average gamer, so for me, having the optimal gear for each of the bosses really made it quite doable, in my opinion. It really did not take me as many orbs as I thought it was going to take me. And I really just consider myself very average at the game. So, if you're in the position to go for it, if you have the bank value to go for it, you have 12 already, you have the Inferno Cape already, you have the Quiver already, you can do it. It's really not that hard. All it takes is persistence, learning from your mistakes, concentration, of course, but yeah, you'll get it done. Just record your attempts, learn from every single mistake, and it's very achievable. So with that being said, I wish all of you guys good luck on your Blood Torva grinds if you're going for it. Hopefully watching all of my videos on the 4 Awakened bosses saved you some headache, helped you identify some of the mistakes to not make, so maybe you get proficient a little bit faster than I did, so it doesn't take you as many orbs. And if it helps even one person out there, then it was worth it. So once again, thanks so much. If you enjoyed this video or any of my other videos, please like and subscribe, comment, and yeah, I'll post more videos when I feel like it, I guess. Thanks.